Hello YouTube, this is a Satsu 5. It's a beautiful day outside and I have a day off, so I'm doing a knife review. This review is over the Sword Peasant knife or friction photo. Sword is the brand. Don't know if I'm saying that right. SVORD. And Peasant knife or friction photo. Well, actually, yeah, Peasant knife or friction photo is the style of knife that it is, and it's made in New Zealand. Before I get started on the review, I always like to start off with the specifications and the stats, because the review is opinion. The stats are hard facts, and those are pretty boring because anybody can look them up. The blade length on this particular knife is 3 inches, which is cool because that makes it legal almost everywhere. You can carry it almost everywhere. The overall length is 8 1/4 inches. It has a high carbon blade, and the handle material is a polypropylene, in other words, plastic. No pocket clip. This is a traditional knife with some ordering materials, and I don't hear, but I've seen, well, this company has came out with a aluminum version of this knife. It's the same blade, just aluminum handles that are anodized in different colors, and that's what's pretty cool about this knife. You can carry it almost anywhere, and it comes with many different flavors. You can find it in pink, yellow, blue, white, black, and red. All those different colors. You can find it in wood colors. The wood is going to cost a little bit more, and I think the aluminum costs a little bit more. But if you like this knife, there's a style of this knife that will really speak to you, because you can get it in almost any color color you want. Like I said, it's legal almost everywhere. If this knife is illegal where you live, then you probably need to move locations. I'm just saying, how can it live in a place like that? But I do know that some of you do live in a place like that, and this company also makes a miniature version of this. I think it's like a 2-inch blade length. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's just a scaled down version of this knife. And this knife is not tactical in any sense of the word. Has no locking mechanism, no pocket clip. Very politically correct knife. It is a lot bigger in the hand than it is when you see it on the internet. When you see it on the internet, just pictures of it, you really don't appreciate how big it is. This knife can open one-handedly. I have a video how to do this, but basically you just grab it like you're shaking his hand, and you squeeze with this tang against your palm. You squeeze and push with your thumb. That's how you open this one-handedly. Now, you can close this one-handedly, but be careful, because you can accidentally guillotine cut the end of your pinky off. I did that, and I have a video about that. So it can be closed one-handedly, but I really don't recommend it unless you just have to do it. And if you do decide to close it one-handedly, just take a second or two to think about what you're doing, and don't do it too quickly, you know, because accidents do happen. I really love this knife for several reasons. One, it's a traditional knife design. It's a very old knife design. This particular model is modeled after a Bohemian, ancient Bohemian, maybe Bavarian friction photo that's about 300 to 400 years old. It's a very old knife design, and this company just makes it with modern materials. It's a very simple knife. That means not a whole lot can go wrong with this knife. It's not a tactical knife in any sense of the word. It's purely a utility knife. What is this knife good for? Let's talk about that. Well, one, it's a very politically correct, although large, EDC knife. And when I say large, it's not large to me. I carry 4-inch blade knives, 5.5-inch blade knives, and although 5.5 inches is too big for a EDC type knife, it's what I carry for self-defense. This knife is, to me, right around the right size for EDC task. Maybe a little bit on the large size to some people, but if that's true, you can get the miniature. They make a miniature version of this. I think I already mentioned that. Two, one is traditional. Two is very simple. Three, it is very, very affordable. This particular knife, the average price for it is about 15 bucks. So I really don't see how you can go wrong with this knife, being that it costs $15 shipped from New Zealand to America. I don't know how much it costs in other places, but shipped to America. I bought this at knifeworks.com, and you can find it almost anywhere for 15 bucks on Amazon or Knife Center or knifeworks.com. It is a high carbon steel, and I forced a patina on this steel to keep it from getting the red oxide rust, which is the bad kind of rust. Patina is the, depending on your opinion, patina is the good rust. It prevents it from getting the red oxide rust, but it does make the knife look aged. When you get this knife from factory, this is more highly polished. It's not a mirror polish, but it's a higher polish in this dark area right here, and you have a kind of a two-tone effect. And I should have waited to do the patina before until after the review, but I wanted it. I wanted the patina just to protect the knife. This is a very robust knife. Now, don't expect to chop down trees with it or anything like that, but if you need this knife for cutting rope, cutting cardboard, hunting, using it as a hunting knife or a skinning knife, this will do the job. Has a somewhat beefy blade. It's not extremely thick, but it's thick enough that I noticed after cutting a few apples that it's not the good apple cutting knife that I wanted it to be. I like thin knives for, I don't necessarily peel apples, but I cut them up into pieces. And I like a thinner knife than this. This tends to break the apple. I like a clean slice. This knife, although not a good apple knife, I have used this knife several times to cut up my steak. Some knives, when I get them for testing and review, I use them as steak knives, because some people are strange and they don't like to use the restaurant's silverware. They don't like to use the restaurant's knives. A lot of times the knives that the steakhouses give you are really dull, and although it's a very quick way to dull this knife if you're scraping it on a ceramic plate, some people find enjoyment about using their own personal knives when they're cutting up their steak or food or anything. So, food prep. It'd make a decent food prep knife. Not the best one, but it's definitely up there. There was no lining in the handle. I don't know if you can see. It's just pure plastic, polymer. And you have these brass screws or rivets. They're not rivets, they're screws. But you have a brass part right here, which is the female. You got the male end right here. If you wish, you can tighten it using a flathead screwdriver or a coin. Might be a little bit thin for a coin, but you can. I think you can get a dime in there. But you can adjust it if you feel it's too loose or too tight. And like I said, this is not a tactical knife. I would not carry this for the purpose of you being a self-defense knife. But if you live in one of those weird countries where they don't like you to have personal protection items, take this into consideration. You grab the knife like this. Oh, didn't mean to hit the tripod. You grab the knife like this. You have this much tang sticking out, and you got this much of a handle sticking out. This handle comes to a point, and you can use that as an impact tool, and you can use that as an impact tool, kind of like a Kubaton. Now, I don't know how strict your country is about using an item for self-defense. Like, this is still a knife, and even though it's a closed knife, it's still using a knife against someone. But if you feel your life's in danger, and you don't feel you can open the knife quickly and efficiently enough, you can simply just grab it like this, and you can hammer away at whatever threat is coming to you. When I first got this knife, I was like, well, it's nice to see a non-tactical knife that I'm really interested in, because I'm usually interested in the tactical side of things. I just recently got into traditional knives, and I was like, hey, wow, it's not a tactical knife, and I like it. And then I started looking at it, but can it be used in a self-defense situation? So I grabbed it, and I hammered on my hand a little bit. I poked. I just wanted to see what kind of damage you can do. And I can tell you, you can very easily get pain compliance, but without resulting in death of the other person. So it's you can use it as a less lethal option. I don't know what this hole is for on the tang. It might just be cosmetic. It might be something to do with the manufacturing process, but it doesn't appear to have any use on the knife itself. Just notice that it does poke out right here on the back of the knife handle. I haven't did any wood carving with this knife, but just grabbing this knife and giving it a good gorilla karate grip. You know, some people call it a gorilla grip, some people call it a karate grip, but gripping it as hard as I can, I really don't notice it that much. I mean, you know it's there, but it's not like it's a major hot spot. I don't really see yourself or seeing anybody wearing their skin out right there where the knife comes into contact. So I don't see it as a potential hot spot. But like I said, it's a decent sized everyday knife for cutting cardboard, cutting up food, cutting up rope, or as a hunting knife. I think it's a home run for 15 bucks. And I am extremely happy with it for that price range. And I'm willing to say if they came out with a nice one, like maybe exotic woods or burl woods or anything like that, I would be willing to spend like maybe $50 to $80 on a version of this knife with a higher quality handle material, you know, a nicer one. But as it stands right now, it's a good, cheap, affordable knife. There's not a whole lot of good affordable knives out there that I deem to be good. Of course, Mora is a good one. Buck is decent. SOG has some good affordable knives. A few of them, not a whole lot. But this, for 15 bucks, is an awesome knife. And I think you'll be doing yourself a favor if you're in the market for a cheap knife that performs very well. This would be a good way to go. That's it. That's the review. Nice, short, simple. And hope y'all have a great day. I'm a Satsu 5, and I'm out.